Hi there, and welcome to Principal Shorts, the podcast for principals who have barely 7.5 minutes for lunch and no time to eat it before 2 p.m. in the afternoon. My name's Stan Baker, one of the co-hosts of this podcast, along with Shelley Steele. We're retired educators from Ontario who worked in adjacent school boards in restorative practice. I wrote up some things about what we do, and here's our AI voice, Paula, to tell you a little bit more about that.
Hi, I'm Paula. Restorative Resolutions helps principals and teachers navigate difficult conversations with parents, makes things right, and makes it all about student learning. This episode asks the question, how can principals stop telling adults to stop swearing at me?
And that is today's principal problem of practice. Let's listen to our guest, Dr. Robyn Koslowitz, Educational Director of Targeted Parenting Institute and author of Post-Traumatic Parenting, Break the Cycle and Become the Parent You Always Wanted to Be. Listen as she discusses how, instead of demanding change, principals can ask the question, is there another way to accomplish the same thing?
So I think that we have to remember that, like, parents, teachers, principals, we're all people. We're all fundamentally, we're all humans. Fundamentally, hopefully, we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And if we can just look at the barriers as the thing that trauma taught me, like somewhere in life, like going back to that dad who was yelling at the principal, somewhere in life that dad learned that yelling is the best way to get your needs met, right? Somewhere in life that principal learned that reprimanding is the best way to get information across to people, right? So everything is something that you've learned somewhere. If I can just keep focusing you on where did you learn that? And while that has validity, because I bet yelling at people got that guy his CEO position, like I bet it's gotten him far in life. And I bet being super religious and super strict has gotten that principal where she is in life. Like I'm willing to bet that has worked for you. Yeah. It has served you somewhere. I'm not asking you to give up what served you well. Where'd you learn it? Is there another way to accomplish the exact same thing without having to yell at people, without annoying people? Is there a way? And there always is. And sometimes looking at something and saying, you know what, this is actually a barrier that I can't ask you to overcome. Like, I don't think it's fair to ask a teacher with health anxiety to overcome the barrier to educating a little girl who's going to suck on her fingers and heighten that anxiety. I don't think that's a fair barrier to ask you to overcome. I can probably get you to overcome that barrier. It'll take about 2 years of exposure and response prevention therapy. If you believe you need to change it, because you may not. This was over COVID. Like, you may believe that this is, and maybe you're taking care of somebody with, like, I have a parent with a compromised immune system who lives with me. I can totally get that over COVID, your health anxiety got heightened. If you decide that you want to get over it, I can help you. There's a way. However, that will take time. Meanwhile, we have a clock ticking. With every single thing that we're trying to get somebody to do, if we can do that caring model and we can really get curious with them about what the barrier is and not tell them to stop what they're doing, but is there another way to accomplish the same exact thing? Great, we're golden. And that's really, to me, what educating is, because anybody can fill your brain with some math facts, but educating is like, how do you learn in a group amongst other people? How do you get along with peers? How do you solve problems and have friends, right? That's educating. So for me, that's what it means to be like a trauma-informed school, a trauma-informed classroom. It doesn't mean that we're pathologizing people and weakening them and making them into snowflakes who can't handle things. It means we're talking about the underlying undercurrents that are the barriers, making them conscious and solving them.
As a principal, you know that it is a challenge when dealing with a parent who's upset. So here's practice number 1. Ask yourself, how curious am I about this parent, or have I already labeled them? Practice number 2, use some different questions like, is there another way to accomplish the same thing?
It's Paula again. Education is about more than academics. It's about learning to collaborate, solve problems, and build relationships. As Dr. Robyn explains, understanding barriers like anxiety or past trauma helps principals shift from frustration to compassion.
Curious about the how-to of having a difficult conversation? Well, let's have a conversation, you and I. Send me an email, stan@restorative.ca, and we'll set up a time to talk. And finally, don't skip your lunch today. You deserve that full 7.5 minutes.